was made by Fabrice, and there are many more that I could have brought.
Thank you, Vivian. That was most interesting. Now, what we can learn from this is that...
Are you confident with your answers in the last 3 sets? Okay, let's listen. And let me first flash this on the board. And let's get the answers, alright? Here we go, guys. Numbers 31 to 35 first.
Right. Are we all here? Okay. As you know, today Vivian is going to do a presentation on the hat making project she did with her class during her last teaching practice. So, over to you, Vivian.
Thanks. Mr. Yardley has asked me to describe to you the project I did as a student teacher at a secondary school in London.
Where? In which kind of school, she said?
Secondary school.
Secondary school. Yeah. So you don't need to use the word school because that word is there already in the question. How old are they?
14.
I was at this school for 6 weeks, and I taught a variety of subjects to a class of 14-year-old pupils.
14.
The
Or
project I chose to do was a
spell
hat-making
out
project,
14.
and I think...
Any other answers you have there? Just the number 14.
14 years old. You can use more than 3 words.
Well, you can use more than 3 words, correct? So you could use
14 years old.
14 years old, or you can just simply write 14.
14 only, sir.
14 will do, because again, age is usually a year. So 14 will do, or if you wrote years old, it's okay. It's still correct.
This project could easily be adapted to suit any age. So, to explain the project. After we'd done the research, we went back to the classroom to make 2 basic hat shapes using rolls of old wallpaper. We each made, first of all, a conical hat by, well, if I show you now, cutting out a circle and then making 1 cut up to the center, and then overlapping the cut like this.
Okay, guys, you did hear the speaker say overlapping, but note the form of the verb here. You have cut in the center and overlapping the cut. It would not be grammatically correct. She did say cutting initially, right? But what's written here is cut. So even if you did hear overlapping, you cannot write overlapping. It should just be overlap. Why? Because the structure of the verb in the first example is cut. You don't say overlapping here. Grammatically, it would be wrong. Did anyone write overlap only?
No.
You did. Ram, cha, and overlap only. If you write overlapping, it will be wrong. Okay. Sige guys, let's listen further. Number 34 now.
A conical hat that sits on your head. The other hat we made was a little more complicated. First of all, we cut out a circle again, like this.
This one.
Then you need a long piece with flaps on it.
Flaps over here.
I've already made that bit, which I have here. You bend the flaps over and stick them with glue or Pritt stick to the underside of the circle.
Underside. Yeah, that's number 34. Good. Right. Now, how about number 35 this time? Let's take a look over here. Let's begin.
Now listen and answer questions 35 to 40.
Where did they draw the design?
The next stage of the project was the design phase. And this involved, first of all, using their pages of research to draw a design of their hat on paper.
On paper. The word on, guys, has to be there, hat. Yes. Because you cannot say a hat paper. No, hat on paper. Next.
That's the easy part. They then had to translate their 2-dimensional design into a form to fit their head. I encouraged them to make a small-scale 3-dimensional hat first.
3-dimensional hat first. So it could be the number 3 because no. Not number 3 because you're not allowed to use numbers there. Note 3 words only. Right? So therefore, you write 3-dimensional. Did you write the number 3 there, guys? But you're only allowed words. Guys, learn from this. Learn from this, okay? And take note, 3-dimensional is hyphenated because we have a noun that follows, in this case, the word hat. Okay? So this is the only answer, guys, not the number 3. Alright? Okay, here we go. Let's continue. What are the colors?
So that they could experiment with how to achieve the form they required. And I imposed certain constraints on them to keep things simple. For example, they had to use paper, not card. Paper is more pliable and easier to handle.
And then?
They also had to limit their colours to white, grey, or brown shades of paper.
So, white, comma. How do you spell grey, by the way? Grey can be spelled with an E or an A. Grey. And the word brown. So separate the items using a comma, right? So it's either E or A here. Now,
which reflected the colours of the buildings they were using as a model for their hats. And they had to make sure their glue didn't show. Well, it was very enjoyable. And just to give you an idea of what they produced, I brought along 3 hats to show you. This one here is based on a circular stairway in an old building in London.
Stairway is the inspiration.
It uses 3 pillbox hats, one on top of the other. This was designed by Teresa.
So 38 is C.
Here's another one that has a simple strip going round the base of the hat, but has then gone on to add strips of paper that come out from the base and that meet at the top of the hat, rather like a crown, making a fairly tall hat. This was made by Muriel. And lastly, there's a combination of the pillbox or single strip around the base and then the conical hat shape on top to form a castle turret.
Castle turret.
This was made by Fabrice.
So number 40 is clearly a turret. A castle turret. No, it's not. Because only one lang. A conical hat. A conical hat. Only one, therefore the answer is A. Okay? Alright guys, what we're doing now is a warm-up for tomorrow's test. Okay? At this point in time, let's give ourselves a 10-minute break. It's 7:10. I have just boiled some water, so you can just take your coffee as soon as you get there. And let's be back guys at 7:20. Right?